right, I'm ready. Okay. Woo.
All right. Let's go.
What's up? I'm Evan Tracy. I'm a junior boarder from Vashon Island, Washington.
And my name is Bobby Welsh. I'm a senior boarding student from Roanoke, Virginia.
Today we're filming. Oh.
Bro, you're such a bot.
Are we not doing it at the end?
And this is
Don't
tornado
be a bot.
No, we're going to do it live.
Yes, bro.
Oh, we're doing it live. Okay, I'm ready.
Is this live?
Yeah, everyone's watching right
To
now.
the entire world. We have a big. The chapel thing is outside.
Matter of fact, they can hear us.
Podcast.
All right, come on, bro.
Okay, all right, here we go. What's up? My name's Evan Tracy. I'm a junior boarder from Vashon Island, Washington.
And my name is Bobby Welsh. I'm a senior boarding student from Roanoke, Virginia.
And this is Tornado Talk. We're about to film episode 45. Today with us is a graphic design teacher.
He is also a middle school soccer coach.
He lives in North Hutch.
Also, he runs Thursday morning Bible study.
He is an avid chef.
And was the chaplain at his frat at the Auburn University. Today we are here with Mr. Givens.
Woo!
Yes,
Big
sir.
round of applause.
Yes, sir. It's been we actually communicated well this time as we haven't in the past. So we're very glad to have you here.
All right. You want to open it up with a quick fire real quick?
Yeah, we'll start with quickfire. Are you familiar with the rules, Mr. Givens?
I've heard him once or twice.
You want to hear them again?
I think I'm ready.
All right, cool. If you could learn a random skill, what would it be?
How to make croissants.
Favorite snack?
Cheez-Its.
If you could choose another country to live in, where would it be?
Italy.
What is something you wish you did as a child?
Go to summer camp.
You never went to summer camp? Favorite genre of music?
Quick.
Ooh, not quick fire. I can't do quick fire. There's nothing quick about me.
Candlelight.
Candlelight through and through.
There we go, baby.
Candlelight choir. All right. So, I don't know if that was a record time. We might have to put it up against the clocks.
Okay, we'll go to the booth. We'll chop some
Look the
pauses.
film, right.
Thank
We'll
you.
improve.
We'll make it roll off the tongue
Thank
a little
you.
quicker. All right, but on a more serious note, where are you from?
I grew up in Auburn, Alabama.
Is that the same town with Auburn University in it?
That is the one and the same.
There we go.
Who knew?
So speaking of Auburn, and we know you went to Auburn University, and we know being there, and that was an important time in your life based on you being the chaplain for your frat, and also going to Alpine during some summers. Can you tell us about that and that kind of that part of your life?
Yeah, I would say those summers at Alpine, probably one of the most formative experiences in my life.
As a counselor.
Yes,
Yeah.
as a counselor. It all started, I was in pledgeship and I hated pledgeship and every morning would rake the volleyball court. We had to rake different designs into the volleyball court naturally, if you've ever had to care for a volleyball court before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I started from that. I started from the outside, and then I ended up on the inside, and I had to walk out. And
Tragic.
Might as well restart. So every morning, this guy and I would just commiserate about how much we hated raking the volleyball court. And along the way, he started telling me stories about the summer camp that he had been a camper at. And then one day, this older guy in the fraternity stands up at one of our meetings and he says, if you will interview to work as a counselor at this summer camp, then I'll give you the afternoon off of pledgeship. And
Steal.
I did not give a rip about summer camp, but I hated pledgeship.
Yeah.
So I said, sign me up. I will interview. And I showed up. I don't think I even wore a collared shirt. I wasn't on time to the interview. I did
Horrible
not care.
Because it was just an interview, wasn't it?
It was
Or
just an
you had to
interview.
get
It
the
was
job?
non-committal. Really, it was just an afternoon off.
Yeah.
And backstory, this is at a time in my story where I ignorantly and arrogantly thought that I could get just about anything that I put my mind to.
Mm-hmm.
But this I'm not trying to get, so I didn't put my mind to it. And about halfway through the interview, I'm thinking this place sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I have just completely blown it. So I don't even, I'm so confident that it's gone poorly. I don't even fill out the application. I'm just like, this is water under the bridge.
Oh, well.
Oh, well, I'll never, hear from this again. And then January rolls around. My friend, my volleyball raking friend, he has heard back that he's gotten the job at Alpine, and he's like, whatever, did you ever hear anything? Did you not get the job? I said, well, I never actually applied. And he's like, well, you should just fill out the application. I didn't have summer plans, so I thought might as well. And I'm ranking on the application. You have to rank what skills you have for what activity you might do.
Raking volleyball courts.
I was like, I didn't see volleyball court
other
care on there. And I'm like, all right, at this point, I have botched the interview. I'm late filling out the application. There is no reason why this place would hire me. How can I try to earn my spot and make myself relevant to them? And I see that for this list of drop-down options, I see horseback riding on there.
Oh,
This sounds awesome, but I have no experience. And so I ranked horseback riding first, asked how much experience you bring to the table. I said,
none.
not a whole lot. And I'm like, okay, this is a throwaway application. I go back down to the list of activities and you get to rank a second one. And I see that photography or camp photographer is listed on the thing. I'm like, well, I really don't want to be a camp photographer, but I do have experience. And so I ranked photography second, and it asked how much experience you have, write a little bit about that. A month goes by and I get a phone call from the guy at Alpine, and he says, hey, this is so-and-so from Alpine. If you'd be willing, we would love to have you on staff this summer. And if you'd be interested, we would really love to have you teach horseback riding.
Ooh.
And from that moment was the seed of the thread that has run throughout every summer since at camp, which is that this is solely a gift.
Yeah.
I did nothing to earn this. It was not my freshman prowess, the guy who thought that he could get anything he put his mind to. This has all just been grace, and it's been a tremendous gift in my life, and really has, I think, shaped the way that I think about life here at McCallie and the work we do here.
I guess it landed you here, right?
Yes, through a long chain of providence that we won't get into, but yes.
But at least you know how to tie a latigo knot now. And
I do.
all the things
And ride horses.
Things I do often, latigo knots and riding horses.
all the time.
So on the note of designing intricate sand designs into volleyball courts, we also happen to know that you did graphic design in Nashville. Would you mind telling us a little bit about that experience?
I did. I worked for an awesome firm with some great people there in Nashville for a summer. And it was through that experience, the first week is like, all right, I'm alive and I'm surviving. And this is my first real, maybe it's how you feel when you went to boarding school. The first week is just like, I have fed myself 3 times a day for 7 days in a row. This is awesome.
Four times a day.
Yes, there you go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So by the time week 2 rolled around, you can't see this, but I'm air keyboard typing and air
He is,
mousing.
it's true.
Watch our YouTube.
I was doing a lot of that. And for the first time after 3 years in graphic design school, I began to wonder, is this really what I want to do? And to connect it, I actually started thinking back to those summers at camp and wondering if there might be a place where the things that I loved about camp might intersect with the things that I love about design. Yeah. And ultimately that led to teaching. But talking about Nashville, if you've ever had Halo Top ice cream, Halo Top is one of the products that this group designed. So I spent some time working on Halo Top ice cream cartons.
I remember. What was that? Do you remember the exit number for your graphic design firm? It was just a random tidbit of knowledge that we went to see Les Mis, and you said, "Oh, I remember."
I don't remember the number, but it's the Wedgwood Houston exit.
Oh, okay.
We called it WeWo.
WeWo.
Yes.
We
Oh.
And the name of that firm was. Oh, okay. Okay, well, we'll cut this. I didn't know that was inappropriate.
You're good. You're good.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, that was a long journey here, and that decision to come teach here was based on the combination of camp and being there. So you teach graphic design and photography. Did you major in that in college or?
Yes, studied graphic design, did some photography on the side. Actually, when I interviewed for the job here, I'm going through this day-long interview, and that's a whole nother story too. So many what are they called? Not subquests.
No.
Side quests.
Let's go.
So many side
Hip
quests
to the
with this
now.
podcast. I'm working.
Hip to the now.
I don't live in the dorms.
That's what my mom says. Hip to the now.
Amen. Radical.
So I studied graphic design in college. Had actually done some photography in high school, and so when I interviewed here, Dean Scholl at the time was one of the people hiring me, and he said, the graphic design job is really like the name on the search that we're doing. but we could also really use someone to teach photography. Is that something that you think you might be able to do? And,
Heck
and again,
yes.
it was just this intersection of
Cool.
the gifts and the loves.
Cool.
So, I mean, you teach graphic design, you teach photography, and we also know that you lead Thursday morning Bible study here at McCallie. We can tell religion has played a huge role in your life. I mean, you take Bobby and I to LMPC, bless up.
Let's go.
Can you talk a little bit about, how God has impacted your life and, if that has played a role in McCallie at all?
Oh,
Big question. I know.
big question.
Huge.
Oh, my fault. LMPC, Lookout Mountain Presbyterian Church.
Shout out.
For those of
shout
you
out.
at home.
Yeah, that a lot of fun times happen up on Lookout Mountain.
Very true.
A lot of long walks to the market and hitching rides with Mr. Curran's parents back.
Very
That's
true.
that's
Lots
a
of
story for
bagels.
another time.
Lots
Yeah.
of bagels.
All right.
So many bagels. We're currently another side quest. We're working on finding out what is Chattanooga's best bagel.
I don't even know.
Panera was all right.
I was out on Panera.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't know.
I liked yours.
I'm up on Costco.
Costco?
Dude, Costco, anything. Dude, have you had Costco dried mango, dude? It's
Oh,
fire.
Fire.
So
Yep.
fire.
Come in those massive bags, too.
I've only been
Yep.
to Costco one time in my entire life.
What?
One time.
We'll have to
Bobby.
connect after this.
Yeah.
All right, ask me the question again. That was not about
I've got a
bagels.
lot of Costco's.
There we go.
in Bastrop
Sorry, guys.
Island,
Side quest. How has religion played a role in your life through McCallie? And, God, how has he played played a role in your life throughout kind of your journey? Boom.
Great question. We'll cut out the pause in the editing.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That's a big
question.
Take time
I
to
wanna
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
I think I think too much for podcasts.
No, it's good.
Yeah, me too. That's how I felt.
Like over
I
analyzing.
was,
You're like,
yeah, I know.
You should have asked a more thoughtless individual.
do you love God?
More, the easy answer to that is no, not as much as I would like to say that I do. But I know that he loves me. And that has been the motivating and animating force behind the last 4.5 years. One of my heroes and one of my best friends, when I moved to Chattanooga, the only downside is that he was 86 years old. And so you don't get to keep those best friends for as long as you would like to. But at his funeral, his two daughters got up and spoke about him. And one of their remarks, the first remark that stuck with me, they said that their dad was a man who was spring-loaded for laughter. And I have loved that picture and have I guess that's encouraged me to not tone back the laughter, but to be a man who is hopefully following in the footsteps of someone who is spring-loaded for laughter. The other one is his daughters said that their dad sought to learn everyone's names because he had a deep and settled confidence that his father knew his name. And that picture for me, again, has been some of the story underneath my story at McCallie. If there really is a God who not only created everything, but who invested our lives with meaning and purpose, then we're not just bags of cells who are trying to get degrees and go on to get into good colleges so that we can make a lot of money. But our lives actually have more value than I can comprehend, and it bears weight on the way that we treat one another. Suddenly, a middle school soccer game isn't just a middle school soccer game. Yeah, so that doesn't really answer your question, but
Make them a big thing. Well, I know a big thing that you've said multiple times at Bible study is like people come up to and ask you like, hey, that are maybe unsure about coming, and they're like, hey, is there anybody there that would surprise you? And it really meant a lot when you were like, well, I'm there, and that should surprise you. Mm-hmm. And I think that is a big thing, especially at McCallie where we've got a lot of focus on, the external or the Adam 1 career oriented traits. Like, we've got a lot of, everybody wants to build their resume, but not a lot of people want to give grace. So I think that meant a lot. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. If I could connect it, you mentioned fraternity chaplain. In college, tying it back to the resume, in college, I had a pretty, quote, impressive spiritual resume. I heard someone describe a McCallie student once who graduated a few years ago as the spiritual valedictorian of his class. And I don't think that was me, but I think that you could have looked at me and mistaken me for that guy. And I think that I was probably pretty impressed with that. And then years later, I was talking with one of my best friends who struggled with things that weren't as easy to facade and to mask. And he was talking about the way that in college, he was left out of groups that I was invited into, and he was looked over by people who had a lot of interest in me. And he said at the end of our conversation, through tears, he said, if the gospel isn't for failures, then the gospel just isn't for me. And he said, I don't mean that I would reject it. Mm-hmm. I just mean that I can't have it. And in that conversation, my friend is closer to the heart of the gospel than I was at the height of whatever that resume was. And I think that is what I would really hope, whether a guy at McCallie chooses to embrace the Christ of the gospel or not. I hope that he will at least make that choice having encountered that gospel. Not this kind of country club Christianity piece, mm-hmm. but a gospel for failures. Choose that or walk away from that, but at least make sure it's that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
Man, this is a banger. This is such a banger, bro.
So quick fire.
Yeah. Well, actually, moving on to, we know you're, as we said before, we know you're an avid chef, and we know that. Well, at least I know. Evan doesn't know. Maybe if he comes to North Huts next year, I'll know.
Those cookies are pretty bang.
I'll know about cookies and RA dinners, and somehow managing to make egg casserole in so many different combinations every Thursday. And Miss Hughes clutching with the banana bread. That's sometimes a name that I feel like goes unseen. So we appreciate Miss Hughes.
Bless up, Miss Hughes.
And but we know you love cooking. Where did that start, and why food? Why is that so important?
My mom is an amazing cook.
Same.
And she grew up with incredibly picky, and we say that she, or I guess we grew up, my mom, backing up. My mom is an amazing cook, and she lived with at least 3 semi-professional yet unsolicited food critics. And as much of an amazing cook as she is, we also laughed that we maybe taught my mom how to cook along the way. We were horrible to her. But all that to say, senior year of high school, I realized that I really enjoyed cooking, and senior year of high school, I realized that I really enjoyed eating. I didn't enjoy spending money, and I saw that those two things were going to be at odds with one another. So I started just kind of hanging out. I made our kitchen home base, and I would just hang out down there, and Mom and I would talk and I would ask questions and I would try things. And then from there, I think cooking is, again, the intersection of these enjoyments of really enjoying people and also having this desire to figure things out, enjoying these kind of creative endeavors, working with my hands. Cooking, along with an enjoyment of eating it, is really the natural confluence of all three of those things. So, hence, a wood-fired oven and egg casserole and chocolate chip cookies.
I love that. Everyone needs to spend more time cooking with their mom or grandma or something.
Amen.
Those have been the best times. But my mom is a great cook, but she oftentimes cooks something and then doesn't write it down on purpose, so she can't make it again. So if it's a banger, it's really unfortunate. And I really remember this one. She made it was like ground beef. No, it was like ground beef, but she put this certain it was a bunch of these spices that she put together, and she couldn't remember the amount or what they were, and then she changed it up, and it was incredible. And we had just gallons of it in our freezer, and we ate it for months. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. And I guess I never said can you write the recipe down? And so now we haven't had it since, and she's been trying to recreate it forever. Every time I come home, she's been trying to recreate it, but we can't recreate it. But that's kind of sad. It's not sad. It's not supposed to be sad. It's supposed to be great because it was a great meal.
It was delicious. But that's what you remember, right?
Yeah.
It's your mom being a great cook. In my house, my mom is a great cook. I swear. Yeah, no. Seriously though, my mom cooks an amazing prime rib, and so every time I'm thinking at home, it's I think of my mom's cooking. So
my memories of the kitchen, were always the old bananas in the freezer for banana bread. Those were all, and they look so nasty, but they're so good. My mom's banana bread is the best banana bread.
I believe that. I don't
think you can't sell out so fast.
I meant my mom's banana bread is the best. No, my mom makes really good monkey bread. I'm taking that. Who's calling me? Goodness.
Well, should we move on?
Shall we move on to our final game? Guess that student. Are you aware of how the rules are?
I know Guess That Teacher. I have never played.
So we're putting a spin on it.
It would have been too easy. It would have been too easy.
Would have been a little too easy. So basically, I'm going to list out a bunch of character traits about a student here at McCallie, and you're going to go ahead and have to guess who you think that student is. Bobby, you want to open it up for us?
It's kind of unfair because there's 1,000 students.
Good luck. Good luck.
Okay, but before we go, so
you're really testing that whole knowing people's names thing.
There we go. So we're putting you to the test.
Middle school is off the table. So even though we love the middle schoolers, we did a live episode with them. Those were just incredible fan base. We have to exclude them from this because that would just be too hard. So, all right, first hint. They're a male, so that doesn't tell you much. But the first real hint, they have the fastest quickfire on Tornado Talk, so they have been a guest.
Okay, you ready? They are afraid of heights.
They were cut from the baseball team freshman year.
They rode a bull for 7 seconds.
And they have offers to play sports in college.
Are those all the clues I get?
Those are all the clues.
Those are all the clues you get.
We can repeat them for you.
Hey, remember, the student is male. That's a really
big
giveaway.
You're welcome. Forgot that
you get 3 guesses. We might give you a little grace, but I don't know. This is kind of tough, to be honest.
So I was going to say Bobby Welsh but you do have offers to play in college, to ride in college. Is the answer Bobby Welsh?
Do you lock that answer in?
Locking it was Bobby Welsh.
No way!
Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He does like you. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Zach Chari was my second guess.
Yeah.
But he probably didn't get cut from the baseball team.
No, that was brutal. But to be honest, I didn't really want to play, so
it's whatever. It's it
was a blessing to
in disguise. Yeah, I mean, it led you to this great offer from great schools.
Oh my gosh, Monterey College, AGTG, man.
That's
my place, baby. Come on. But normally I feel like those weren't. It was really tough to come up with stuff for quickfire. I don't know how to. Well, I mean, teachers. Like Miss Hughes, did you hear? So Miss Hughes was owned 8 white-tailed deer and
rode a motorcycle across the country,
parachuted solo.
Imagining Mrs. Hughes riding a Harley,
with hanger bars,
chopper.
But it was kind of hard to come up with stuff. But I guess I don't know. My other ones were never needed training wheels, but
I like that one. No,
I mean,
I
that
like
would be
that
kind of a giveaway because like the bike ride and whatever.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, whatever.
Maybe. I mean, do you think you would have got? Well, we can ponder it later.
Yeah, whatever. All right.
Mr.
Side
Givens,
quest, side quest.
you've been. Hold up. Here we go. What advice would you give to a student looking at McCallie or a freshman who is here now?
Every student hears this. Like everybody will hear this podcast. So, you make sure
No
it's,
pressure.
it's good advice.
Yeah, no pressure.
Really counting on y'all to cut out my long pauses.
Cook with your mom.
No, yeah, we got you. We got you.
A piece of advice for a freshman currently at McCallie.
Or considering coming to McCallie.
Yeah. We have a lot of boarding visit days.
True.
They look strong. Keith Chari was here. Zach Chang over there.
Really?
Yeah.
This would be my advice to either a new student at McCallie or someone considering McCallie. In my experience here, McCallie is a place where students have the opportunity to have trusting relationships with adults. And I think that can catch us a little bit off guard. I think for a lot of students, adults or teachers maybe previously have been people who catch you doing things. In which case the objective becomes to hide as much as you can. Or if you're really good at the game, you craft two different personas. And one is the you persona and one is the you that you think the teachers want you to be. And that works really, really well until you encounter an adult, a teacher, a faculty member who actually cares about you and actually wants to know you. And they're really not interested in the you that you think they want you to be. My piece of advice would be to let that faculty member in, or let that adult in on who you really are and your doubts and your fears and the things you're excited about. Don't worry so much about, am I being who I think they want me to be? And what's going to happen if I let them in on the fact that I am actually struggling with these things? I think, and I hope, and I trust that you will be met with understanding and grace and kindness in that moment, maybe in ways that you hadn't previously thought possible.
Or maybe in ways you didn't think you deserved. And it's just it's a place where it seems like everybody cares. Like it's impossible.
You're not a number.
to walk 5 feet without bumping into somebody who is interested in you, even if they don't even know you, like faculty wise, which is crazy cool.
Yeah, no, it's something that McCallie offers that I've even on a small island, right? Everyone knows each other. You run into your teachers at the grocery store. Sometimes you would still feel like work, right? Like, this is just an adult babysitter who is supposed to somehow connect the dots for me to go to like Harvard, right? Probably not, but
come on, baby.
No, I'm sorry.
They're
I'm
listening.
trying to
They're
pull
listening.
through.
Yeah, they're listening.
I would love to go to Harvard. But no, here it's you can sit down, you can go to a faculty member's house. Again, like I've had cookies in your living room. You're able to have so many deeper meaning conversations with people who are not just your teachers, but, role models and people who are willing to like lay down for you and offer advice. Cause I mean, you guys were all kids once too, and you guys have all lived through it. And it's just something that I feel like maybe we take for granted here sometimes. So
and I think that's something you can't quantify on a brochure.
Yeah.
I mean, you can quantify like the teacher to student ratio, but you can't quantify the teacher to student relationship. Yeah. So maybe the admissions people should work on quantifying that number.
True.
But we're at 27 minutes. But thank you, Mr. Givens.
Mr. Givens, you were an awesome guest. We loved having you on.
Thank you, sir. We're glad we finally made it happen.
True.
Great to be on here with y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.